Hey there, good evening. I think it's about 9 p.m. Sunday night. What is that? 28th, I believe. Yep, almost the end of the month. Yeah, just doing a couple quick updates. As if I need more projects. These are in no way a priority. These are going to be worked on between other things. But I got another duster going, and I might use the dual scoop hood. I might use this hood. This is going to be a slot car body. Being I got a couple of these kits, and I've also got one of these dusters going, whatchamacallit, as the 6-cylinder version that I showed you months and months ago, or years ago, whenever I started that. So yeah, this is another slot car body I started. It'll probably get the wing, and like I said, I haven't decided which hood I want to use, but I will. But of course, I gotta get the mold lines out of it, and be multicolored as usual. Probably mask off a panel here, a panel there, and some primer and some rust. And started this one as a slot car body. It needs a lot of cleanup. I mean, God, the mold lines and the amount of flash. I mean, this spoiler had a spoiler. That's how much flash it had. It had a piece of flash coming off the back like almost a 1/4 inch wide across here. I have to slice off. So, luckily, excuse me, I'm doing it barn find style anyhow, so it doesn't have to be tits perfect, but yeah. So that's another barn find Camaro. They always sell well, so I figure, I'll do a couple slot bodies in between the other projects. They're no rush. When they're done, they're done. And then I'm doing something I haven't done, a newer car as a barn find. 2002 Camaro. Got the rear bumper pan, whatever you want to call it, glued on. The spoiler slash I may not put on yet because then it'll be hard to paint this area. So I may at least mask off the area where the plastic's supposed to stick. I then paint everything. I then maybe glue it on and then paint it again. Just so I cut it in. So it I don't shadow that. But, being that all this is that vinyl plastic back here, the front clip is. I'm not sure if the hood is or not on this particular model. This is the SS, I believe. The final version, the 35th anniversary Camaro. So it's going to get a little weathered Camaro. I took the engine out of this kit. I bought this kit at a thrift store, and I'm not really into that generation Camaro, but I used the LS engine in my 56 Chevy. So that's where that goes. And what else have I picked up? Oh, I picked up this at the dollar store the other day. Let's get a little more light on it. There we go. Muscle machines. I love the Ford GTs. This is a 66. Got the gold wheels and the gold wall and the gold Firestone. And excuse me, allergies are slightly affecting me. I was out in the yard earlier today cutting some grass, and allergies didn't bother me years ago. Now they do. I'm not as bad as some people where I get all miserable, but I get a slight bit of a runny nose and a tickle in my throat. Nothing sore, just tickle. Yeah, so I picked up that, and I picked up this. Let's come up a little bit. I picked up this at the hobby shop. It was in shrink wrap. And a lot of times, Tom at Borman Hobby has kits like this. I don't know if he got them from somebody else, took them on trade, or what he did, but he often has kits. I have a couple other older NASCAR type kits that have extra decals for alternate versions. I got a funny car that way too with extra decals. So this one has the Frank Rebel Monday decals with the Blue Crown spark plugs and the Rebel flag and number 7 and Tracy Motors. And it shows you a little diagram of where some of these go. The decals go, and I don't think it really states what color the car is supposed to be. I think it's like a darker blue. I found pictures of the real thing online. So besides doing it the Tim Flock version, which there's several different decals of that in here, there's a bunch of extra decals from Mobius that aren't even mentioned in the instructions as to where they go. So there had to be alternate versions of this car. So I'm not sure where they go, because this says Flacco, and those decals are in there, Jocko Flacco, but there's also just Tim Flock in there. So I don't know. I guess there were different versions of it he raced. Then there's these decals. These are kind of unusual. This is the number 92. This is number 91. And this is Fabulous Hudson Hornet. It just says, yeah, 1953 Cup, number 2. And, but I've never seen decals backwards before. So they must come off there and, you know, stick on that way. But those two were in there. There were 2 sheets of these, the same thing. Yep. And these. But it had a pretty good price on it. I think I paid like $38 for all of it. You know, I'm like, hey, what the heck? You know, and Mobius even tells you like where to cut the fender skirts out and all that good stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I've been oh, I do have something else to show you. Let's see how it's doing here. Ooh, not bad. As long as I don't mess it up, we'll be okay. This is my whatchamacallit, GTO for the Lucas C's unbuildable 67 GTO group build, which is due in July. So I got some gloss, some 1K on it earlier. Still got to do all the bare metal. But the hood, I'm going to have to do some wet sanding and get some of that orange peel out. The hood drove me crazy. This thing's had how many paint jobs? It was originally yellow. Now, I prepped it the same way I prep all mine. And it got a washing. It got wet sanded. It got duplicolor primer. But when I put the yellow on, the Tamiya, which this is brilliant orange Tamiya. Oh, come on, focus. Why don't you always, you know. Anyhow, I put the yellow on it, and the body came out, but the hood crazed. I mean, like, big time crazed. I'm like, what the hell? Why only the hood? I mean, I prepped everything at the same time, identically. So I wet sanded everything, and rubbed it down with some alcohol, washed it all again, and dried it, and then I painted it again with the yellow. Again, everything on the body came out smooth and silky. The hood crazed again. So I wet sanded it all again, and I hit it. I was out of the yellow by then. So I put this brilliant orange over it, and again, the hood slightly crazed. But as you can see now, it's not crazed anymore. It just has some orange peel, but once this cures out, like I said, it's not due till July 6th, so it has plenty of time. I can just let it sit and cure out really solid while I build the engine and chassis and all that. And interior, it's just going to be a basic black interior. But, yeah. And I put a bye-bye. Let's see if that'll focus. It's really reflective. Well, it's sort of showing. It doesn't like to focus. There we go. Yeah. So, got some decals on it. Oh, that's the other thing. Oh my God. These front fender decals, oh, all the decals actually. The orange whip worked out pretty much perfectly. The quarter panel in the front fender drove me nuts. This is the third decal on the quarter panel and the second on the front fender. I had plenty of decals that would work here. And every one of them, one side would go on perfectly. The other side, as soon as it hit the water, the one curled up. It came right off the sheet, curled up into a ball. I mean, I couldn't even untangle it to make it work. So, tore this one off and went with these other decals. Now that one, the one went on perfectly. The other one shattered in like 400 pieces when it hit the water. They're off the same sheet from the same kit from the same age. I'm like, what's going on? So finally I found these ones, and they worked. And then the same with the front. This is the second decal. I mean, the first one on the rear quarter panel was a Haymaker Pontiac. I'm like, oh, that's perfect for a vintage, name and, sponsor, local sponsor type deal. And no, the one had to go bad. So yeah, so finally I got him to work. And I'm like, I better get some clear on them before they decide to peel off or something. So yeah, it's got to be bare metaled yet and all that good stuff. And but yeah, that's going to have plenty of time to cure out. And then I can, wet sand it and hand rub it and it'll look good enough. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on amongst a couple other things. The the tow truck kind of went back burner just for a little bit because this is my next group build that's due, and I wanted to get that further along. And then some of my other 10 by 1110 cars, I'm gonna try to get to those. And the Nova, the '69 Nova. Geez, I'm so tired. I'm just doing this so I stay awake a little longer. The slot car body, the Nova I made the wing for. I ordered a hood for it. It's not a resin hood. It's the cowl hood that comes with the original version of that Nova, the Revell Nova. I ordered because that's a lower cowl hood. And I ordered the scoop from the AMT 66 Nova Pro Street because that's the scoop I used on the other one I made. And this guy wants me to make basically a copy of the first one, but different colors and all that. So I ordered those, and the hood was supposed to be here Thursday according to tracking. And I'm like, okay, it was in Warrendale / Pittsburgh very early in the morning or late Wednesday night, however you want to look at it. And I'm like, okay, well, I should have it in the morning. Well, I have I got the tracking and I got it set for, texting me as it goes. And then I get a text while I'm at work. I'm like, oh, this is it. It's been delivered. No, it's in Girard, Ohio, which is just north of me. It's the next county up. It's right over the border. And I'm like, what's it doing in Girard? I'm like, okay, well, hopefully they transfer it to the local Youngstown thing, and I still get it later today. I don't get another text until the next morning, like 1 or 2 in the morning. Or, no, maybe it was like late at night, like 10 or 11, I got a text saying it's back in Pittsburgh / Warrendale. I'm like, really? They sent it back? And so that's Friday. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll have it today, Friday. And I don't get another text or update on it until later that night, Friday night. It had departed Pittsburgh, which means, okay, is it going back to the original sender or is it coming to me? Well, Saturday morning, I wake up and I get a ding and it says it arrived at 4:46 a.m. At the main post office in Youngstown. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. That means I should have it today. And I have to go to work and do some stuff. So I'm figuring on the way home, I'll stop at the post office and get it. Now, they don't always text as soon as it's delivered. Sometimes it's hours later. They may scan it at 10, but I may not get the text until noon or 1 o'clock. So I'm on my way home about 11:30. I stop at the post office and open my P.O. box, and there's nothing in there. I checked the tracking, and the last thing was 4:46 a.m. at Youngstown Post Office. I'm like, really? It hasn't moved? And so, yeah, so I didn't get that. And the other one has been in where was it last? A hood scoop. I think it arrived, I want to say Saturday morning. It arrived in Warrendale. So it's, theoretically, I should have everything tomorrow. Because as soon as I get all that, I could, put the scoop together and putty it, glue it on the hood, and get everything painted and get that thing, a little further along and get it together. But yeah, it's just irritating when they do that. I'm like, seriously, people? But yeah, so that's the GTO for that. I didn't go crazy with it. I didn't peak this like I wanted to. I was going to mold a peak into that, But I'm not getting that crazy with this kit. I mean, I got a different chassis. I got the Revell chassis for it. I have to modify that to fit the engine. I'm using the 421 dual carb engine from the Catalina, the AMT Catalina kit in it. I had to modify that to fit. And I did that the other day. I'll show you that in another video. But yeah, and I put the core support from the Revell in there. It'll get painted black later. But I put that in there because it doesn't have those stupid mounting post, kickouts or whatever you want to call them in it. And it's going to get the better firewall and all that. No inner fenders though. It's going to be open, which means I also got to mold the top of the frame rails because they're like a C-section. The top of them's hollow, which on a real car they're not. So I'm going to have to put some sheet plastic across there and paint it black. That'll be a quick thing to do. Yeah, so it's not going to have inner fenders because the inner fenders on the Revell aren't separate. They're molded to the body. And yeah, I didn't get that. All I bought was the chassis and the core support and the firewall and all the suspension components. I bought that on eBay. I didn't buy an extra body to strip the fenders out of. So I'm like, nah, it'll just be a fenderless. It's a race car anyhow, so it'll work. But yeah, that's about where I'm at. So what I'm going to do here, whoop, I deuce, is Joe is going to go and go upstairs and go crawl in bed. And it's going to be a weird week because I did some yard work today, so I don't have to do as much after work tomorrow. But I still got some crap to do. I got like a few strips in the backyard that haven't been cut yet. But after doing the front today and cutting up the one giant limb that fell into a bunch of smaller pieces, I threw it in the back of my truck. I'll take it to throw it in the dumpster at work. Yeah, so I did that. I was just too beat to do anything more. But yeah, I got that to do. I got my girlfriend's old mattress and box spring that's still in my garage. I got the Sawzall. I got to cut that up in some pieces. And I'll throw it in my truck and throw it in the dumpster at work too. But Friday, I got to come home from work and basically go to bed because I got to be up like 2 a.m. or something like that. My girlfriend and her bestie are taking their yearly vacation. And I got to take them to the airport. And that's about an hour drive, a little bit more, because I got to pick the girlfriend up and her friend, which they only live a couple blocks apart, basically. Then I got to go to Pittsburgh Airport and drop them off because, you got to be there like 2 hours ahead of your flight. So, yeah, I got to be up like 2 a.m., pick them up and do all that. So, I may take next week off. I'm going to see what the schedule looks like when I get in tomorrow, and I may take a vacation week because I got to take care of her cat and apartment and put her AC back in her windows and all that. And it's a pain in the butt. Her windows are extra wide, and I have to make spacers for the window AC because the little accordion things on her window AC that you fold out won't reach the window because her windows are that wide. So I have to put spacers in there and make it fit and put foam and oh, it's just a nightmare. I hate doing it. If I had the money, I'd buy her a couple more of those roll-around portable ACs, and she could put one upstairs and one downstairs. That's what she had when I met her. But they're so damn expensive, I just bought her the window AC, and her son-in-law gave her another one for the downstairs. And look. But here I am babbling on about stuff that's not model-related. But, yeah, I'll maybe do a video in the morning. I'll show you some other updates on some other stuff. I got my container full of stuff on the kitchen counter right now, and yeah, that's what I'll do. So anyhow, guys, hey, thanks for watching. It's already been 20 minutes of me babbling on about nothing. Crap. Okay, well, hey, everybody have a good night. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch up with you in the AM probably, and try to make another little video and show you some updates. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.